For me, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the Ashtanga Yoga is based on the Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dhyana, Dharana, and Samadhi. These 8 steps became extremely important to me. And why it is important to me was the first step before I pay attention to my body, I need to pay attention to the context and the society and the environment in which my body is situated in. And I need to come into alignment with the environment. So that is where the Yama Niyamas, the idea of following certain disciplines, certain practices, and making a commitment that I will tell the truth to the universe. I will not steal from the universe. I will practice a certain non-violence, both to myself and to the environment around me, are extremely important practices and principles that I need to commit to. When I commit to that, it brings harmony with me being in the environment. That's the first step to start yoga. If I don't start with that alignment with the universe before I align my body, then that becomes very temporal, very short term. Once I am aligned with the environment, then I need to quiet down my body. Like Sachin was doing earlier, how do I bring that stillness, that silence as the foundation in which I can discover myself and I can tap into the infinite potential of myself. So first, because the grossest part and the most material of myself is my body, how do I keep it quiet? And keeping it quiet and keeping it silent, keeping it in one posture that allows me to notice the subtle moments of my breath. I think that becomes the most important part of asana. Any asana is about being in equanimous, peaceful state at my body level, and then begin to become aware of my breath, the in-breath, the puraka, the out-breath, the rechaka, and then, as Sachin said, being able to be present to the silence in between. That is between the puraka and the rechaka, there is a state of kumbhaka. There is a state in which we are full of that life breath, the prana as they call inside, or when we let go of the breath and when we breathe out, again being with that silence of being away from the prana. So these are some things that became extremely important. And how do I do it? Again, if I refer back to what Sachin said, you don't need to make an effort. It has to be effortless. It's a part of just the natural way of aligning and being in harmony, not only with my environment, with also my body, and now with my breath. That aligning with my breath in a way that it is effortless, and I am able to experience the 3 states of filling in, being with it, filling out, and being without it. If I can get there, then it looks like the 3rd stage begins the 4th stage begins, the pratyahara. Can I do this without light? Can I quiet down and be with my breath by being in a slightly darker room, without any sounds, without any disturbances that will take my, what you might call as sense organs, gnanendriyas and karmendriyas, to go out and seek its own objects of pleasure from outside? Can I actually withdraw my senses into myself? So that means the attention is not outside at all. It is all completely going inside. Can I begin to pay attention to whatever is happening, not at my sense organ level, but actually in my mind? When I do this, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and pratyahara, once these 5 external obstructions are removed, another way of saying is, once I am in harmony with these external things, the material things, and the what we call not me kind of an environment, then the me begins to play a role. That is where the manas, the meditation, begins to become extraordinarily important. That is when we are mindful, that mindfulness sticks. If we do the mindfulness without necessarily doing the first 5 stages, it is very peaceful in the moment, but sustaining that mindfulness through our life requires us to work with the first 5. And that is where the ability for us to do dhyana, the meditation, or then comes the dharana, to be able to concentrate on a mantra or to concentrate on a prayer to external God, external person, whomever we call, in our mind. Because in our mind we still think God is somewhere out there, but without recognizing the divine within us. That is the difference between a spiritual and a religious. Either way, both come back to the same thing of aligning the dhyana and dharana. That combination is called samyama. Samyama means, to a certain extent, I am actually aligned with all of those, internal and outside, of whatever consciousness and awareness that I have. When I do that, I go back to what is called samadhi, sama adi. That means going back to the beginning and being equanimous with it. And at some level, what it means is I'm dropping my identity, I'm dropping my mind, I'm dropping the feeling that I am separate and the divine is separate, you are separate, environment is separate. I am accepting I am part of all of this consciousness, and I am even letting go of this seed that I, the consciousness, the individual consciousness. When I drop, there is only quiet ocean of bliss, the ocean of ananda. So for me, yoga is a step-by-step movement from external world into the internal world and dissolving the internal identity so that I become part of the external and internal, one and the other.